Hello everyone, it's Tuesday, which means it's Reviewsday Tuesday. Today I'm going to be reviewing House of Secrets, a book by Chris Columbus and Ned Vizzini. Let's get started. So, confession time. I've been trying to get this book finished since, well, I wanted to get it done for the second Tuesday of the year, way back in January. So you can see how well that worked out for me, considering it's the middle of March right now. Honestly, part of that was due to my just school workload and everything, but part of it was also the book. The pacing of the book was very off and hard to keep going with it when I honestly didn't have a whole lot of time to do so. This also was the second time I read the book. I did read it once back way when it came out. I had found out a book because I was just happened to be in a bookstore like you do, and came across it saying, oh, this seems like an interesting concept, so I bought it, read it at home, really loved it. I actually got through it pretty quickly, so I was kind of expecting that type of pacing again when I read it this time, and I did not get that. So, basic plot of the book. Obviously, spoilers ahead in case you don't want to know anything about the book before reading it. If you want to avoid spoilers, just click here, I'll jump you to the end of the video where I tell you whether or not you should go and get the book or not. Alright, 3 kids, Cordelia, Brendan, and Eleanor. They move with their parents to a new house in the great city of California, state of California. Wow, it's been a long day. So they move into this new house that used to be owned by an author in the early 1900s. Their father has had some difficulties getting work as a doctor due to the fact that he was asleep on the job at one point and ended up in the surgery room carving an eye into a patient's stomach. Naturally, the patient sued, and now many places, rightfully so, don't really want to hire him. So they come across this house, they buy the house. Next thing you know it, old woman who claims to be the daughter of the author who lived in the house in the early 1900s pretty much tells them to get out or she'll make them. Some funky stuff happens and the old woman places a curse on the entire house and suddenly transports it into the world of 3 of her father's books mashed together. And honestly, that concept right there, the fact that 3 storybooks being collided together, is kind of what prompted me to buy the book in the first place. It seems such a great idea. Heck, if I had the opportunity just to jump into a story, I'd take it in a heartbeat. Hogwarts, here I come! However, rightfully so, since the plot desires it, things go horribly wrong when they try to interact with these characters who are out to try and kill them. Because evil woman person. The characters behave just like you would expect siblings to. They care for each other, but they also annoy the crap out of each other at the same time. And I really love that aspect of it. My problem is at the frequency of which this occurs in the book. Of the 500 or so pages in the book, probably maybe about a third of them are devoted to the characters bickering like siblings. And honestly, after the first couple times, it gets quite old. I'm all for sibling rivalries, but when you use that as a huge plot device, it gets kind of boring kind of fast. Using it once would be no problem, but again, multiple times kind of drives this point home for me. You see what I'm doing? Now, when the plot of the book didn't revolve around the siblings bickering, it was very interesting to read. I loved it. The characters who are out to try and kill the siblings, well, those types of things get interesting because they don't happen as often as nearly as much as the sibling bickering. There is some what I believe to be quite unnecessary romantic relationship implications between the eldest and a fictional character, and later on between Brendan and a fictional character. Look, I know we all do it when we're reading books, but I don't need it in the books that I'm reading. Both of these romantic implications didn't really have anything to do with the overall plot. They were just kind of there for some really poorly done character development, I really think. And part of that is what kind of makes me not like the end of the book, which I won't really talk about because that's obviously huge spoilers, so if you want to go read the book, go ahead and read the book like that. One of the things I did like about this book was the way the fictional books collided with each other. The books that collided together were very different from each other. You had one about savage warriors, one essentially about medieval England, queenie and king stuff like that, and the other was a group of pirates. Another thing that I personally enjoyed in the books was the amount of scientific accuracy present in the books. Nothing was achieved to cartoon or fantasy science. Mostly everything in the book could be explained by real-world physics. Overall, House of Secrets is a book I wouldn't highly recommend. It definitely has its good points, but for me, the sibling bickering was way too much for me to get over. So if you're fine wading through and reading through all this fluff about sibling bickering and unnecessary romantic implications, go ahead, read the book. So that's it for this review. Until next time, see ya.